Hi, it's Ursula from ursula-smith.com, and today I'm back to using two-part silicone molding putty. And what I did with this was I made a stamp out of it by pressing it into some craft foam that I etched on the silhouette. Hopefully you can see those designs. So I just kind of took a piece and pressed it into the foam and made a stamp out of it. And now I'm going to stamp some copper and try and etch it using the electro etching. And I'm using copper nitrate or cupric nitrate. I used to use just regular salt, and then I tried, I don't know, some copper sulfate or some other copper salt thing. And I'll try and find the link. I read about using copper nitrate or cupric nitrate, and that seemed like a better way to go. It lasts a lot longer, that sort of thing. So that's what I'm using now, and we'll give it a go, and hopefully it turns out okay. So thanks for joining me, and here comes the project. So here is what I used to stamp with. I tried StazOn white, both by itself, and then I came back over where I missed on one of them with a Sharpie, and you can see that result later. And this time around, I'm trying, sorry for all the marks on my hand. I was trying different lipstick shades. StazOn plain, which I think I've tried before, and it was a little light. And I missed a couple of spots, so I went back in with a Sharpie. And then I'm also trying pigment ink with embossing powder, detailed embossing powder. So you can see the results before etching. There's the StazOn black, and there's the embossing powder. If you're going to do the embossing powder, I would suggest first making sure that there's no plastic on the back of your copper, because a lot of times it comes with plastic on the back. And then I'm just using this as a kind of like a pot holder type thing, because obviously if you're heating up the embossing powder, the metal gets very hot. So now I'm going to set it up for etching, and I will be back. Okay, so here's my setup. I put plastic tape on the back so that it doesn't etch the back of my plate. And then it's attached to a copper wire, and I color it with Sharpie just to try and keep it from being etched away. And then I'm going to kind of create a little hook. I'm going to attach the red, sorry, there's my finger, the red alligator tip to the thing that I want to be etched. And then the black is attached to some wire, copper wire, and you can see I've used it before. That's what all those little granules are. And that's my little agitator, which is just the aquarium bubbler. And that's my copper sulfate. I'm going to turn on my power, and I have my regulator set to just under 3 volts. 4 volts I think is the highest according to the documentation I've read that you want to go. That etches really fast, but not quite as clear an etch, so I'm kind of hovering around just under 3 right now, and that seems to be working. So let's give this a go, and I will be back. So just some quick safety tips. Make sure you wear gloves when you're dealing with the solution. Make sure you wear your safety glasses, and make sure you turn off your rectifier when you're getting ready to check your progress, which I'm about to do right now. Okay, I think it needs a little bit longer, so tick tock, I'll be back. Here's the results of my etching. This one on this side was where I used the white StazOn, just white StazOn, and you can see it didn't cover the greatest, so it's a little rough looking, which I kind of like that anyway. But if you need it to be a tight image, then you might want to go over it with Sharpie, which is what I did here, and you can see it's a much cleaner etch. So this was obviously etched at the same time, just difference in the stuff I used to cover. And then this one is the black StazOn with a little bit of the Sharpie marker. Still a little bit of a rough etch. And then this is the embossing powder, and that looked like it held up really well. I'm going to use an iron to iron it off onto a piece of paper, and I will show that when it's done. Actually, I'm thinking you could even leave it this way if you wanted the kind of two-tone look. It's kind of cool looking. And I'll be back. And so I used an iron. There's the results to iron off the embossing powder. And it's this one. And so that ended up coming out really nicely. I think that one actually is my favorite. That one, and then the StazOn white with the Sharpie marker over it came out the clearest. So again, this was just StazOn white, and then this one was the StazOn black. So I'm gonna probably go with the embossing powder. I kind of like that look. Or the StazOn white if it's not too hard of a image with the Sharpie marker over. Anyway, hope that helps. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.